Hi, welcome back. Let's get into the fun part. What's a search engine optimized post? So, every blog post has four main sections. Number one, introduction. It must have a hook so it entices people to continue to read. We already have an entire video on this, and by now you should know what that is. So, I'm just going to skip on the details. It should have a paragraph, it should have a summary or conclusion, and then, of course, a call to action. This is, again, as important as having a headline as hook, because if you don't add a call to action, then people will not do what you want them to do, right? So a call to action is a must. Now, people always ask me, Sonny, what kind of blog post do we have in terms of its word count? How many words? Since you're working on optimizing your website for local search, a 12 to 1600 words is pretty good. And adding that post or that longer post twice a week is even better. See, most businesses, you'll see, most of your competitors, most local businesses, if they do blogging, if they do add a blog post to the site, then that's usually around 5 to 700 words. I've seen that several times, sometimes not even 500 words. So when you check your competitors and you see they are adding blog posts on a regular basis, count how many words do they have. If they have around 750 or so, you're good with 12 to 1600 words on your website. You want to make sure you do better than what they are doing, okay? Now you might think it's tough to add that many words in a blog post, 1600 words, that's a lot. And I agree, it is a lot. But here's what you can do. So let's see if we were going to talk about 7 ways to do something, right? 7 ways to get rid of mold. Then look on internet, do some research and see if you can increase it to 15 ways or 20 ways. Basically increase, instead of repeating the words, instead of repeating the paragraphs that you've already written in different language, in a different way, add more bullet points. Make it a numbered list. Instead of 7 ways, go 15 ways or 20 ways. And you'll find that if you do some research on Google, you'll find that. Okay. So that's one way to write a long post. And of course, then when it's a longer post, you can also add more images. You can also add more key phrases and so on. So that's what you should go with. Now, if you write longer posts, you'll notice that Google bots revisit your site more often. Your site gets indexed more often, which is also a way for you to increase the rankings of your website. It keeps your website fresh. Visitors, people will come to your site more often. Search engines will visit your site more often, which is a win-win. So add posts regularly and longer if possible. Also, longer posts will help you help people stay longer on your website. So that'll increase the average time spent on your website. If your average time spent, if people are spending more average time on your website than your competitors, that's going to help you rank high than their website as well. It's not the only factor, but it is one of the factors. Average time spent on your site is considered by Google. Okay. So if people are reading a longer post, if they're spending more time on your website, that's going to help your rankings. Make sure you add long tail key phrases, long tail keywords in your post. Okay. And one of the ways, of course, is finding Google itself. You already know this. So go back to those strategies of finding your money keywords. You can go back to the same strategy and find long tail keywords that you can use in your blog post. Add meta tags, title and description. It's important. Just like you add meta tags to the service pages of your website, just like you add meta tags to the other content pages of your website, you should also add meta tags to your blog post. You can do that, especially if you have a WordPress site and if you're using a plugin like Yoast, you can simply go in your WordPress site and do that. Okay. So every blog post that you write, you can have a title tag, you can have a description tag, you can even add a keyword or so, but you should do this for every single post that you add. And of course, don't forget the keywords in the URL. Just like we have keywords in the URL of landing pages, of your service pages, you should also have keywords in the URLs of your blog post. Don't let it have a number, your website.com/1234. No, you want to have your main search phrase, your main keyword in the URL of every single post. Include internal links. So link your blog post from one post to another post, from one page to another page. Sometimes you can link it from one post to another post. Sometimes you can link it from one post to the service page, okay? Or maybe to the home page of your website. Just like in this example, does insurance cover mold remediation? So of course, the person writes one paragraph and then they have two internal links going from this page to another page of the same website. And every once in a while, you can also have external links because that helps your rankings too. Link it to CDC. If you have any fact or anything in your blog post, and if you found that from CDC, then link it to them. Maybe a news site, maybe you're writing something related to news, so link it to the news site, Fox, CNN, or maybe a local news channel, and so on. External links will also help your rankings. Make sure the post is mobile friendly. So shorter paragraph, images in close-ups. If you are putting a picture of a building or of a family, make sure it's in a close-up so people can also see that in their cell phone. And when I say shorter paragraphs, if you remember, we don't want to write lengthy paragraphs because they're hard to read in a cell phone. And since you're getting more traffic from your phones, make sure the paragraphs you write are short, even shorter sentences. And then share your blog post on social media. You have to start this yourself first. So share it on your own Facebook page, share on your Facebook business page, Twitter, LinkedIn, and so on. You can even share this on your Facebook business page and boost the post. Okay, put some money in it, put $5 in it. Let's see what happens, or $10 in it and see what happens. If you get likes, if you get shares, well, that's one way of creating awareness about your post, about your website. You'll get more visitors to your site. They'll spend more time on your site. They may end up calling you, becoming your customers because they're spending more time on your site. Google will take that into a ranking factor. So there's a win-win here. And you never know until you test and do that. And so like I said, when you share this on social media and when others share your post on social media, that'll get you more backlink, of course. So keep that in mind. Now, every once in a while, you can add a post that explains your services. Usually, we always want to write when it's about them, about your target audience. But then every once in a while, you can have a post that actually explains your product, maybe your process. You may have a 6-step process when you go to somebody's house for mold removal, or you may have a 5-step process when you go to somebody's house for waterproofing their basement. So you can have a post related to that. Let people know how you do what you do, what kind of products you use. Maybe you use moisture meters. Maybe you use infrared cameras. So let people know that, because that's going to let your target audience know what your process is exactly when you get started with them. Okay, so you can do that every once in a while. Not every post, but once in a while it works. Now, having blog posts on regular basis, adding posts to your website on regular basis will make you a thought leader in your industry. You'll become an expert, okay? For 2 reasons. One, every time you add a blog post, you'll have to do some research. When you start writing, you start learning. You'll learn new things. You'll find new facts that even you did not know existed before, right? So you'll start becoming a bigger expert in your own industry, within your own services that you provide. Plus, when people see your post, when they read your post, they'll also take you as an expert. And there's a lot of people out there who only want to deal with experts. They like dealing with experts. For example, if you provide water damage restoration services, it's the insurance that pays, to the homeowner or directly to you. The homeowner doesn't care at this point how much it's going to cost because the insurance is paying. So they would prefer going with an expert. They would prefer going with somebody who knows what he's talking about. So at that point, your expert status will help you tremendously. So when you start adding these posts to your website, that'll make you an expert in real sense, and that'll also make you an expert in people's eyes, in your city. So blogging has many, many different benefits, not just SEO, okay? It increases your conversion rates. People talk about you behind you in a good way. They give you as a reference to others. Your referrals increase and so on. So make sure you get started. And of course, use this strategy of having your post as a search engine optimized. So one, it's liked by search engines, and two, it's also liked by your visitors. So you have benefits of both of them. Okay. So I hope you'll start working on this soon. Let me know if you have any questions related to this, and I'll see you in the next video.